What's good, y'all, and welcome back to True Black, where we stay true to our blackness, our black American culture, and our black American lineage. So, in this video today, I want to talk about why it is that we, as black Americans, Native black Americans, foundational black Americans, American descendants of slaves, go against our black immigrant brothers and sisters and their descendants when they get over here and when they're here. And I've looked at a couple of channels by people, like, I don't know who the people are who follow around with FD Signifier, but I know him and his ilk. His ilk is often full of black immigrants from Africa or the Caribbeans, and I've listened to a couple of them, a few of them, male and female, and I've started to kind of get this one continuous thing that I see that they all kind of back and that they find themselves pushing. And I could kind of see it again. I kind of see it across how a lot of immigrants that I've talked to in my own personal life, how they kind of feel and believe when they come over to America. And we as black Americans, we already know it to be a trick bag or a trap. But our diasporan sisters, brothers and sisters, I don't think they really either know or maybe even care, because it seems like maybe they only just want to get the bag for themselves and then go back to their own country. But one thing that I have noticed that I see my diaspora brothers and sisters doing is that this main point that they defend so hard is that they all are, not they all, but the ones that I've seen, the more vocal ones, they are all proponents of intersectionality. And now with intersectionality, when you really look at it, it kind of showcases what it is that our brothers and sisters from the diasporan regions, they kind of, it shows the bit of tribalism that they have. And as black Americans, we don't really hold on to tribalism that hard. Like we do, it was kind of beaten into us through Willie Lynch with the old black, the young black, the light black, the dark black, the field black, the house black, the male black, the female black, the it's always something like they tried to make us tribalistic, because when we were in slavery, we were all one people. We already knew that. We were pretty much on one accord, so they had to try to instill tribalism in us. We're not saying that we don't have any of it in us at all. You can look at sport, how black people are about their sports teams, but at the end of the day, we still know that even if we're from a different place, a different area, even a different gang, we're still all black at the end of the day. And intersectionality is a tribalistic thing, and the reason why it is because it's about giving something to everybody and letting it trickle down to everybody, giving it to whoever needs it first, and then letting it fall down to whoever needs it the least. And they kind of do that where they trickle it down, like trickle economics. The only problem with that is, just like with trickle economics, intersectionality always seems to have black people at the very bottom, especially black Americans. We always seem to be at the bottom when it comes to trickle economics and intersectionality, because everybody and their mama, whatever demographic they belong to, whether it be handicapped or LGBTQ or from whether they be from Trinidad and Tobago, whether they be from Niger, whether they be from Britain or whatever, they always have it worse and harder than we as black Americans, as we as Native black Americans or foundational black Americans or whatever. They always have it harder than us. They always have it harder. Everyone has their own version of the N-word. Everyone has their own version of their slave or very inhumane upbringing or whatever. Everyone had their own ghetto, their own whatever. And pretty much everyone wants to make it out and look like that we don't have it as bad as we actually do, or that we never really had it as bad as we did, or that we've already overcame and we already got what we need, so we don't need to get anything else. We don't need any more. Now we're just being greedy because these immigrants are coming from war-torn countries or whatever, or tyrannical countries, and they come over here to seek freedom, and they were like, oh, I've had it worse than you because I came from this tyranny. Well, it's like, well, congratulations, you just hopped in another one. But they don't see it as that, because it's so much better over here than it is over in their own country and their own tyranny and their own dictatorship and their own squalor. It's better than when where they were at, and the way that they see it is that they always see that we have it easier. I once had a Jamaican person to talk to me, and he said that, oh, your work ethic, or your intellect or whatnot, you seem different from all the rest of them. I'm like, what do you mean I seem different from the rest? Like, bro, you sound like a white man right now. But it's like, it's only to find out. He was talking about his story, like, yeah, I was homeless, I was this, I was that. But he was like, I was asking him about how he was in Jamaica. He was like, oh yeah, his family had money. And I'm like, what? You come from a family of money, so whether or not you are homeless in America, it didn't matter because you had somewhere to go back to. You feel me? Like, you had something already established somewhere else. So it's like when they come over here and they talk to us like this, it's like they're coming over here with a tribalistic mindset and trying to kind of get it how you can type of mindset. But it's like when they do that, they come against the very people who, if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't even be able to come over to this country in the first place. And this is the type of tribalism that I've noticed that they often perpetuate. And then they get on intersectionality because it's so tribalistic. Intersectionality is tribalistic, but not only that, but it still goes based off of the socioeconomic the racial socioeconomic hierarchy. It still goes based off of that. The white people get it first. It still happens the same way. And it seems like they don't care that white people get it first, just as long as they get theirs before we get ours. It's like we get the crumbs that we get because we live in a system of white supremacy. We get crumbs. Like, we use the crumbs that we get so that we can have our energy to fight back against this white supremacist structure, this white supremacist system, to help dismantle it. Not just for us either, for every victim of white supremacy, which is everybody anyway. But we mainly do it for us. But we need to have our energy because we are the main warriors against it. But it's like our black immigrant, our black diasporan brothers and sisters come over here. They steal off our daily bread. They take our daily money. They take everything that they can away from us, and they don't use it to fight back. They just use it to cozy up next to their oppressor and get even warmer next to them. And it's like, bro, why? Like, what's the point of you even like coming here or doing whatever if you're not even trying to help better the situation here? If you're not trying to fight, it's like you just want to get the monies and live a better life just so that you don't have to live in the squalor of your own country. And then you come over here and tell us how lazy we are. Like, if you're not lazy, you could go back and fix your own country. This is where this whole back and forth between the black Americans and the black immigrants start to really fester. It's because it's like yes, our black diasporan sisters come from very harsh conditions, but it's like we come from harsh conditions too. Just because y'all may not have toilets or whatnot doesn't mean that we still had it easy over here. That's not what that means. But they have this in the back of their mind, in the back of their head, that you guys are pampered. We're not pampered. There's still places in America where black people don't have running water. So it's just like being in a third world country. There are places all around America where black people still live like it's a third world country. Look at Flint, Michigan. So it's not that we're just in this super pampered society where we're constantly getting all of these goodies and handouts from white supremacy. And it's like, that's what our diasporan sisters come over here and believe in. And then they hop on intersectionality, continuing their train of tribalism, trying to make sure that they can get whatever they can from us without giving anything back in return. Like, it wasn't us who fought for y'all to come over here. And honestly, even before Martin Luther King Jr., none of the civil rights fighters really wanted immigration. From what I've heard and from what I've seen, they didn't want integration before Martin Luther King Jr. They really didn't. There wasn't a lot of proponents for it because they knew that once that happened, they would have a buffer class between them and the whites, between us and the whites, so that it would make it harder for us to be able to fight back against them. And that's why there's so many immigrants, especially with the black immigrants. And then it's like they come over, they take our daily bread, they act out our black American icons, and they don't do them any real justice because they don't have any actual connection to these people. And then it's like they're looking at us like, oh, well, like you got to play Africans for so long, so what does it matter? It's like, yeah, well, why don't you go to your country and have your own Hollywood and do that? Because we are in this country, so that's why we portray the like these people. And it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like a revenge thing that they feel that they need to come back to us and do that to us so that they can have their revenge and their come up and their get back at us. And it's like, that's not really helping anything at all. That's not helping forward the black community, the black American structure, the culture and heritage. That's not furthering us. It's helping to hinder us. And it's like they're being willing participants in our cultural destruction, but it's like they don't care just as long as they don't have to live in the country that they're from, that they grew up in, that's been war torn or become a dictatorship or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that like all of our diasporan brothers and sisters are like this, because when you look at like people like Julius Malema and the in South Africa, we do have brothers and sisters who know what the real is out here, call out the coons in their own culture, and they still hold themselves accountable for what they're doing over in their own homeland. That's what we as black Americans, we get behind that. We support that. We get with it. It's like, if you standing up against white supremacists to take back what's rightfully yours, do that, bro. Go over there. Like, you over there, go ahead and do that, bro. You got our full blessing, our full support. We with you all the way back over here. But it's like the only black immigrants they allow to come over here are the ones that Julius Malema over in South Africa would call coons. It's like those are the ones that they allow to come over here. And it's like when they come over here, they start eating off of us and then talking down on us. And it's just like this, and it's like they wonder why there's so much infighting between, foundational Native Black Americans and these black immigrants and their descendants. It's because black immigrants and their descendants, they don't have the same type of fight in their heart that we do. It seems like all they care about is just getting out of the squalor that they're in currently, no matter what the means is. It doesn't matter if they have to make black American people look goofy, ratchet, or bad. They don't care. As long as they get to make some money and live a decent life out here, it's like they don't care about any of the ramifications. Not saying that our people don't do that as well, because look at the rap industry. They didn't have to promote gangster rap, but since that was making them money, they hopped on board with it and they perpetuated that all throughout our community. But it's like now there's a lot more immigrants coming over here, or who was born here, that are now doing the same thing, and they're taking it even further. Because even people like Jay-Z was saying, like, I want to rap like Talib Kweli, but that won't make me any money. So it's just like, it just seems like, when it comes to our black diasporan brothers and sisters, they are on board with this intersectionality so hard because it promotes tribalism. And because of this tribalism, it's just it constantly breeds this type of this us versus them mentality, which they often want to call out. But it's like, if you're going to call it out, call out the points, call out the part that you guys play in it as well. I'm not saying that everything that a foundational or a Native Black American does is the right thing. I'm not saying that we're always perfect or whatnot. I'm not saying that. We do our fair share of going against our diasporan brothers and sisters as well, not making y'all feel welcome or whatnot. But if we're going to be honest, it happens on the other side too. You guys come over and it just seems like all you do is just want to take and never give. So it's like we are both coming to the table with very valid concerns, but it's like until we can get our black diasporan brothers and sisters to understand that what they are doing is also contributing to this fighting because they want to stay with their tribalistic intersectionality ways, we are not going to get anywhere. They got to understand that they need to understand and learn from us, since we've been here the longest, been fighting the longest. Like, just understand that we know what we're doing. Hop on board with us and work with us, rather than just trying to work to get yourself whatever benefits and trinkets or whatever you can get from the dominant society, and then they toss you to the side when they're done with you. We know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing. Just follow us, bruh. Like, y'all been here for like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations? We've been here for way longer than that. We've been here way longer than that. Just listen to us, follow our lead, and we'll go. And everybody gonna get a bag. Everybody can get one. But it's like, we can't do that if you guys are constantly coming over here trying to take whatever you can from us and not give anything back in return. But that's what I've started to see is the reason as to why Black Americans and black immigrants always go at it. Let me know what y'all reasons are, or maybe this reason, maybe intersectionality, maybe it's not the right way or to describe it or something. But I want to know what y'all guys think. Maybe is there another way? Is there a better way? Is there a worse way or whatever? I want to know so that we can keep this topic going, keep this conversation going. I'm meeting y'all in the comments to see where it's going. And yeah, as always, remember to stay true to your blackness. And you know, we're gonna rebuild this black culture, this black American culture, this black American heritage, and we're gonna get it popping. All right, have a good one.